Welcome, everybody, to WagerTalk Today. I am Lawrence Presman. He is Teddy Covers, and you're watching the best daily all sports betting show on the frickin' planet. Teddy, good news for you. Really bad news for all our viewers. This is my last show till next Wednesday, brother. So my apologies to everyone, especially all the people who man crush on me. I will be back. I swear Steve Merrill will be sitting in. It'll be great. Dude, if people have never seen this show before, what are they going to hear today? What are we going to be talking about? Why should they stay?
Well, today's show, MLB-centric. We are in the midst of baseball season, and we're going to do an MLB-heavy show today on Monday, starting with Marco D'Angelo. He's going to talk about the Red Sox and the Twins, as well as the Blue Jays and the Marlins. Bryan Leonard is going to join us next. He's going to talk Rockies and Reds. And I think Brian's going to give us a very different opinion about Boston and Minnesota than Marco is. So we'll hear both sides of the coin for that particular ballgame. Drew Martin going to break down the D-backs and the Brewers, the Padres and the Giants. And in our BS segment today, a question from Jaime Gonzalez talking about multi-leg parlays versus straight betting and flat betting. Should be an interesting discussion. So, yeah, loaded Monday edition. Let's get right into it, Mr. Lawrence. And so sorry to hear you'll be out of town after today through next week. Darn. Although you're going to be here in Vegas, I might have to see you this time.
Darn. Teddy Covers, you're a good man. Listen, before we get into bringing Marco on, and full disclosure, he pays to come on the show. He's the only handicapper that does that. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to get on the show. We need more questions for our BS segment, guys. And the segment is going great. Everyone is loving it. Teddy and I talk betting strategy, and we'll talk about any betting strategy. Some of you guys have put up that you want to hear more poker. Okay, ask poker questions. We'll even do that in betting strategy. You want stock tips? Ask stock questions. Whatever question you want, put it up in the comments section on the YouTube video, and we will get to it. Let's bring him in, Teddy. Marco D'Angelo. Welcome to WagerTalk Today, brother. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing fine, Prez. How are you doing this fine Monday morning?
Good. I'm talking to my drug mule, so I'm pretty happy about that. I will be seeing you tomorrow night, Tuesday night. We're going out for dinner. You're going to bring my edibles?
I can neither confirm or deny that.
In this day and age, brother, you could say this stuff. Hey, bringing my bottle of Jack Daniels, the devil's juice. Anyway, dude, love having you on. How you been? Congratulations on the Vegas Golden Knights. I know you went to the parade, and I know that you texted me pictures mocking me while you celebrated all my kin from Toronto.
Hey, it was just too easy. Why didn't you come in a couple days early? Because this would be the only chance for you to see the Stanley Cup in a parade.
Marco, I got to ask you, though, 100 degrees, 1 million people out there. Was it actually fun, the parade? 'Cause we talked about going, and we're like, I'm not going to that. I'm not standing out in the sun for that. Was it worthwhile? Were you? I mean, as a Knights fan, obviously you enjoyed it, but was the experience itself enjoyable?
It was, Teddy, because I got down on the strip. We got a room for the night, so I was able to wait till the last minute. Then I ended up finding a spot on Las Vegas Boulevard, right in front of Planet Hollywood, elevated in the shade. I camped out an hour and a half before the parade started. I had no intention to go to Toshiba Plaza where, the parade ended and then they had, all the speeches and such. That was absolutely insane. I don't know how they capped it off. They wouldn't let any more people in there. They were at max capacity there. And it was a very enjoyable evening for everybody. And it was a parade that started at 6. So it still was 94 at 6 o'clock whenever the parade started. So could you imagine if it was an earlier parade here in Vegas? Wouldn't work.
Yeah. Well, hey, at least you got one. Marco, let's get into some actionable information. First game of the day that we're going to discuss. Boston and Minnesota. Now, I don't have any idea why you and Brian want to talk the same game. I'm trying so hard to put a stop to that, but alas, that's what we find ourselves in. Boston winners of 4 in a row. Swept the Yankees. Minnesota lost 3 of their last 4. Here we have a minus, 140-ish line on Minnesota. How do we bet this game?
Yeah, Prez, and we're opposite, me and Brian, in this one, because we're looking at the game totally opposite way. But I'm a situational guy, and I get it. Boston, if you look at the two teams right now, Boston's playing better baseball right now, no question about it. But look at who they played. They're coming off playing the Yankees. That's their arch rival. Not only did they play the Yankees, but they also played on Sunday Night Baseball. We talk about that all the time. The teams that play ESPN Sunday Night Baseball then have to travel the next day. It's a huge disadvantage. Put one more disadvantage in there for Boston yesterday. Coming off your rival, coming off playing Sunday night, they had to play a doubleheader yesterday. They played a day-night doubleheader because the Saturday game was postponed. So everything here is against Boston. I'm looking for them to have a letdown here. Going with Minnesota, they send Pablo Lopez to the mound, who's had 2 good outings in a row. His last 13 innings of work, he's allowed 4 runs. But more importantly, his strikeout to walk ratio was 15-2. And I'm really big on that. When you got a pitcher with a high K rate to walks, that tells me that in those 2 starts, he had command of all of his pitches. I am going to go ahead and go with them for this spot here. I know James Paxton's pitched well. This just isn't a good spot for the team, and that's why I'm looking at a full game, and I'm taking the Minnesota Twins tonight against Boston.
So let me ask you this, because when it comes to laying a price with an AL Central team against an AL East team, it's something that I have a hard time doing, considering the worst team in the AL East is better than the best team in the AL Central right now. At the end of the year, isn't Boston, or even right at the end of the year, right now, isn't Boston the better of these 2 teams? Take the starting pitching out of the equation. But isn't Boston the better of these 2 teams? And if it is, doesn't that make you reluctant to lay $140 with the weaker team, even with the pitching edge?
The situation, Teddy, you're absolutely right. If this game was tomorrow and they didn't play today, Boston had a day off after that Yankee series, I agree with you 100%. I'm playing the spot in Minnesota. There's no question they're not playing good baseball right now, but I got a pitcher that's in good form going against the team in a horrible situation, and I just got to make that play. It trumps everything else.
Marco D'Angelo joining us, everyone, co-founder of WagerTalk.com. Guys, you've all been asking, when's the presidential address coming back? It's on hold. It's coming back. Don't you worry. We'll get it back for sure as we enter football season. But if you guys listen closely throughout the show, we are giving out picks. Last week, I told you guys in one day to take Cincinnati and the over at 1. Today, I'm telling you guys to take the Toronto Blue Jays minus 1.5 runs. I think it's an absolute perfect spot for them, and it's a game that Marco wants to talk about as well. Boreas on the mound, really, really great start to the season, especially after last year. He's playing hoeing Miami, Toronto, dude. How are you betting this game? I like the Jays -1.5 here.
Yeah, Prez, I agree with you. I'm actually going ahead and going to lay it here with Toronto, but I'm splitting my bet up. I like Toronto, and I'm also going to take them for a first 5-inning wager. And here's the spot. We start with Miami. They're returning off of the road trip. I know Miami right now is playing their best baseball of the season. Over the last 15 games, Miami is 12-3, but couple things to point out. Look at who they played in the road trip. First of all, crazy road trip. They started in Chicago, play the White Sox. The White Sox have been a train wreck most of the season. Then they go out to Seattle. Now, Seattle is a decent team, but they've playing subpar. Expectations were higher on them. And then they came back to the East Coast and played Washington to finish up the road trip. And Washington's not playing good. So the record looks good, but they played a couple of bad teams in that stretch. Then you factor in the travel, like I said, to Chicago, all the way out to Seattle, back cross country to Washington. Now they return home. Ironically, of that 12-3 record, one of those 3 losses was in the exact same situation that they are tonight, returning home from a road trip. So that starts me out at Toronto. But then when you look at the pitching matchup, it's all Toronto. Berrios has pitched extremely well. 8 straight games in which he's allowed 3 runs or less. In half of those 8 games, he gave up 0 or 1 run. Hence why I'm splitting the wager up. I like Toronto for the full game, but he's pitching so well and going against Hoeing, who had 2 starts earlier in the year, not good, put him in the bullpen, now getting a start. You're probably going to see him for 2-3 innings, 4 at the max, and then they're going to go to the bullpen. I'm looking at this one as 2-headed monster. Take Toronto first 5, take Toronto for the full game. And you want stats? How about this? Miami's just 3-21 against American League East opponents, while Toronto flipped that around against National League East opponents, 23-9. Both of those records are over the last 3 years for those 2 teams. And Berrios, when he starts the last 3 seasons, his team is 32-14, and that includes a 9-5 mark this season. I'm on Toronto.
So let's talk about Berrios for a moment and this Blue Jay squad, because certainly Berrios has been pretty good, and Toronto is a team that, while they haven't necessarily lived up to expectations, they've been pretty good. That said, they've been costing their backers money, because the Blue Jays, like we're seeing today, are favorites everywhere. Here's Miami. They're 11-2, their last 13 at home. All right, you talk about the record against the AL East from 3 years ago. I'm talking about this year at home. They're riding 11-2 around their last 13 games. And Toronto has already been bet up this morning. It was 140, 145. Now it's 160, 165. And the Blue Jays keep finding ways to lose games. Isn't this a scenario, or is this a scenario where, despite the starting pitching edge for the Blue Jays, every other edge, momentum, team chemistry, profitability, points in the other direction? Does that concern you here?
Obviously, Teddy, like the first one, if this was a Tuesday game and they had Monday off, Miami returning from that 3-city road trip, it's a totally different handicap. But you know what? I've been doing things, for 40 plus years. I'm a creature of habit. What works for me works. And as I said, the last time Miami came home from a road trip in this spot, that home field that's been so good, they dropped the first game of the homestand there as well. Yes, it's getting bet up, and that's because most people are looking at, and I'll say the sharper guys are looking at the same thing that we're looking at. I don't have a problem if you want to bring the price down on Toronto and cut your liability, because Toronto's biggest problem is the bullpen. You always have to worry when you head to that Toronto bullpen. Go first 5. If you don't want to lay the $1.50, $1.55, lay a half a run with Toronto in first 5. That'll bring your price down. I don't have a problem with that as well.
Marco D'Angelo, guys, please hit that like button. Come on, man. Marco, I'm going to discuss what you're doing in the daily roundup, but you can go ahead and promote as well. Why not?
No, I have a rare 5% play, and it happens to fall on a Monday, which means you guys get a play that's normally $35 for just $9 today. So nothing really to tout about it, just the facts.
There you go. Marco D, everyone. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you personally, physically, face to face tomorrow. And I'm looking forward to it.
You hoping more to see my face or the edibles?
I want to do the edibles first, and then I want to stare at your face. How does that sound? Oh, who's that guy? Anyway, Teddy, it's time for the Wager Talk Daily Roundup. It's the Roundup. I can't remember my own names. Let's get into it. Then we're going straight into what did bettors learn. Anyway, guys, it's a great day of betting at WagerTalk.com. A quick reminder to everyone. It's $9 Mondays. Every single play, every package from every handicapper, only $9. If you've never purchased from us before, today is the perfect day. It is only $9. And, you know, shout out to a lot of the guys this weekend. We had a great weekend betting. I won my 5% play in Canadian football yesterday. Brian Power, 3-0. Tokyo Brandon, 7-2 for his clients. Carmine Bianco, perfect 3-0. Andy Lang, 6-1. Ronald Kabang, 6-2. Ralph, Teddy, Drew, all swept the board. Right now is a good time to get involved in what's going on at Wager Talk. We've got a few featured plays I want to discuss. Marco D'Angelo has a rare 5% bet tonight, and he's a real monster in these plays. This is only his second 5% play of the baseball season. And keep in mind, Marco is up over $6,000 for $100 bettors in the last 5 months alone. Pavlos, he is kicking ass in soccer. He's on a 24-8 run, and he has a 5-pack of Euro plays today. 5 bets, all soccer, only $9. And a shout out to Dwayne Bryan. He has a big 5% play today as well, and he's 9-2 in these exact plays over the last 10 months. As for our schedule up at Wager Talk Today, you're watching Wager Talk Today right now, and if you're listening to this on Twitter, check us out. Brian, Marco, and Drew Martin on the show. We have the opening line report at 1 p.m. Eastern and first pitch at 2 p.m. Eastern. Teddy covers. What did we learn in the wonderful world of sports betting last night?
Well, it's streak season in MLB, and you hear us talk about it a lot. Ride those streaks in baseball. Let's talk about them for a minute because they were on display all over this past weekend. Of course, the A's last week, the worst team in baseball, suddenly reels off 7 straight wins, all as big dogs. They're 0-5 since, another streak to ride.
Yeah.
The defending World Series champs, the Astros, they've lost 9 of their last 12, just got swept at home by Cincinnati. Speaking of Cincy, they've got the longest winning streak in baseball right now. The last 5 of those wins have all come at a plus price. The Royals had lost 10 straight before a miracle win on Saturday, and then they lost again on Sunday. The Yankees are ice cold. The Marlins are on fire. The Phillies have won 6 straight, coming on like a freight train. The Giants have won 7 straight, just swept the Dodgers in L.A. The Rangers finally went cold, lost 7 of their last 9. And I haven't even talked totals. The All-Star break is 3 weeks from today. And that's all I'm looking to do in baseball between now and then. Ride the hot, fade the cold, regardless of those season-long stats. This is the time of year to do it. You can make money riding dogs who are winning. You can make money betting against favorites who are losing. Streak season in June. Let's take advantage. Lawrence?
I love that take, Teddy. So I have some questions for you. Guys, right off the bat, I just got to tell you, Teddy's opening line report in NFL comes out tomorrow. And I'm not kidding when I say this to you. It is as if there is a Bible out there. Oh, wait, there is. And I'd still rather read your NFL opening line report, your win-loss report. 97 and 47 lifetime. Dude, those are sick numbers over an incredible period of time. It comes out tomorrow, and here's my question. Why tomorrow? It feels so early. I mean, that's just me, but so much still is happening, and yet you release this thing before preseason starts every year, and every year you totally dominate. How?
So let's start with this. The NFL season win report. Just like this is the best daily sports betting show on the planet, just like it's the BS segment, betting strategies, you're having a whole lot of problem with names today. And in general, as you get older, I know it's an issue for you. But this is the NFL season win report. I started doing it in 2001. I've done it every year since. And as you mentioned, 97 and 47. Why do we put the report out so early? Real simple. The early bird gets the worm. Okay. We're putting the numbers right now in the betting marketplace. And it's something I've been tracking very closely. The numbers right now, they really haven't moved a lot in the last week or two. They're not going to move a lot for the next week or two. What we can do now is take advantage of a static marketplace. I'm expecting everyone that gets a report is going to be able to get down at or near the numbers that I release at. Once training camps open, these numbers start to move because all of a sudden people are paying attention to the NFL. If we bet it now and release it now before training camps open, yes, there will be one team that loses a key player in training camp or two, and it's going to affect our opinion about those teams. The other 30 or 31 teams in training camp, what we thought going in is likely to be what we think coming out. If, unfortunately, one of the teams that I like over the total, and again, there's overs, there's unders, it's not a report that's all overs. If one of the teams that I like over the total happens to suffer a key injury in training camp, it sucks, but that's the risk that you have to take to get the best of the number. The key, these win totals will move. The lines will absolutely move between now and the start of training camp, and particularly that first, second week of training camp, they go nuts. So I like to lock in now, and obviously over the course of time, it's paid dividends to lock in early.
Teddy, I'm gonna throw out a suggestion at you. You take it for what you will. If you want to do it, email customer service, speak to Johnny, Slack Missy, whatever. Your NFL September is the single best sport/month of betting at WagerTalk.com. That 4-week period, sometimes 5. I mean, I remember you running off numbers like 20 wins, 5 losses. It's that good. Why don't you throw up a monthly NFL package? I don't do this. Get the boys to throw up your September NFL package and have the win-loss record given away free inside of that package. I don't know. Do some combo, dude, because if people are not betting your win-loss report and they're not betting your September football, they simply should not be betting. Bryan Leonard joining us, everyone. Teddy?
Just real quick, we are putting up a week 1 selection today that will be available for $1. For $1. And if you get that selection, there'll be other discounts inside if you want to get on board for a month or the win report or something like that. So you can check that. It'll be up by noon today at WagerTalkerSportsMemo.com.
Bro, I love having you with us, man. Jesus, I feel like we're back to back, but you were on Thursday's show. I just missed Friday, which is why I feel like we're back to back. By the way, I shot an 88 yesterday. I know for a lot of you people that's pathetic. That was a legit no mulligan 88, the best score of my golf life. Just wanted to throw that out. Bri, you want to talk Colorado?
We're all wondering.
Oh, bugger off, Teddy. Bri, you want to talk
No, we were. Everyone, I was looking at the chat. The chat was like, how did Prez shoot golf yesterday?
Teddy.
Dude, you just babble.
I do, right?
About nothing.
I do. But I don't lie. And you never have looked at the chat in your entire life. How long can we have Bryan Leonard sitting silently just waiting for us to stop? Bri, how are you, dude? Have you gotten your college football bets down on those games that release early?
I have not. I've done that years past. I don't do it now. They just don't last long enough. I can get them for myself, but I can't do anything for my clients because the lines move like crazy. Secondly, yeah, you've got to get Teddy's win report. It's great. He's nice enough to send it to me every year. And I don't remember it ever losing, but it's always really good. But the most important thing.
What? Teddy sends it to you? That's not his report to send. That report is owned by WagerTalk, and we want our money. Bryan Leonard, you owe me a percentage of that report.
Speaking of Lawrence, how do you ask Marco to be your drug mule, and in the middle of his analysis on a game, you forget to hit the silent button, and everybody in the world hears you yawning?
I'm a bad man, Bri. I'm a bad, bad man. Okay.
Let's get into talking some baseball today.
Colorado's
playing in Cincinnati today. Colorado's dead last in WRC plus at 61 when facing lefties. That means they're 39% worse than the average major league team. Keep in mind, that especially stands out because they play half their games at Coors Field. Colorado is a team you look to fade on the road. They just got swept by the Braves. They had a 5-0 lead yesterday and gave up, I believe, 14 out of the next 15 runs in the game. I want no part of Colorado on the road. Austin Gomber enters play with a 7.29 ERA, 1.70 whip on the season. Now, he's been much better on the road than he has pitched to Coors on the year, but this Colorado offense really drops off when they're not playing in Denver. Brandon Williamson has not gotten off to a good start in his rookie season. I played him last game. He looked much better. I like the way he's pitching now. And because of his poor start, you're getting him at a decent number. I released this to clients earlier today at minus 153. It's gone up about 15 cents since then. So instead of using it as a 3% play, just use it as a 2. The line's just not as good. But, you know, this Reds offense really struggled on the road earlier in the season, but they've come to life with all the young prospects they're bringing up. And they've got another one that should be up in the next week or so, but they've been very good offensively. They scored 54 runs on this recent 9-game road trip. They're playing very well offensively. Now they're going back to Great American Ballpark where they hit like crazy anyway. I expect this game to go over. I expect Cincinnati to win the first 5. I expect Cincinnati to win this game, and they'll be able to take advantage of this Colorado offense. This is just terrible on the road.
So I'm going to talk about Austin Gomber for a minute because he's really an interesting story when it comes to his season-long stats versus when you isolate what's happening when Austin Gomber is pitching on the highway. Last time out, 6 innings, 3 runs allowed against Boston. Before that, 2 runs allowed at Kansas City. Before that, 2 runs allowed in 6 innings against the Mets. Before that, 5 shutout innings at Cleveland. He had a bad start at Seattle to open the season and a bad start at San Diego. Actually, it wasn't even that bad at start at San Diego. His first start, where he had 6 innings, 3 runs. So that's like one quality start after the next on the highway from Gomber this season. But his overall stats look awful because he gets bombed every time he's at Coors. Does that concern you now that he's on the highway against a Reds team that may be a little fat and happy today after sweeping the Astros and coming from behind and winning in extras yesterday? Does any of that concern you?
The Reds have been so bad for so long. I don't think they're ever fat and happy. But I agree with Gomber. I play a lot of fantasy baseball. And the problem is when you're drafting these players, you play them on the road or you play them at home. Well, you don't want Gomber at home. The problem is when you play them on the road, they don't score for him. So that's the concern. It's always been the concern for Gomber. I've always thought Gomber, if he got out of Colorado and was pitching for some other team, he'd be a decent starting pitcher. But because he pitches at Colorado, everybody thinks he stinks. I did mention that in my write-up today that he's much better on the road than he is at home. But keep in mind that he'll be better on the road, but the Colorado offense will be far worse.
Bryan Leonard, everyone. Bryan, I love Cincinnati, and I love the over as well. I wanted to release the over to my clients. That's how much I liked it, but our back end had 10.5, not 10. So I wanted that 10, but I'm with you, brother, completely. Boston at Minnesota. We already heard Marco's take on this. Where are you going in this game?
Yeah, I knew Marco would be on Minnesota here. We've been friends for so long. I know what he likes to play. And he's not as much interested in some of the other stats that I look at, including pricing. But I think Teddy kind of hit it on the mark when he was questioning Marco about this Boston team playing in the American League East, going against a team in the American League Central. American League Central stinks. Boston's still in last place. So I know they played the Yankees yesterday. I know they swept the Yankees. They're going on the road. But Boston's still in last place. They're far out of the playoffs right now, so they're not going to sleepwalk through any game whatsoever here. And keep in mind, this Minnesota offense, they're dead last in Major League Baseball. They strike out 27% of the time. In the last 14 days, they struck out 30% of the time. If you're a Major League Baseball player who strikes out 30% of the time and you're not hitting at least 20 home runs a year, you're going to the minors. And this whole team has been that way. 30% the last couple of weeks and 27% on the season. They just strike out too much. They're not a good combination of players. They've gone up and down the minors. They're trying to get a combination out there, but this Minnesota offense has been very poor. James Paxton has always been a solid starter when healthy. He's having a great season right now. He enters with a 3.09 ERA, 1.16 WHIP. His advanced stats confirm that success with a 3.10 xFIP and a 3.13 SIERA. His whiff percentage is 33.3. It's the best on the Major League Baseball card today. Boston played last night at home against the hated Yankees, so the letdown could occur, but as I mentioned, I don't think it will be because they're a last-place team still trying to grind out wins, and they played the Yankees without Aaron Judge. That's a big differential. I talked about Minnesota striking out. They rank 28th in WRC plus against lefties. They're not a good hitting team against lefties. They're playing one of the top 2 or 3 hottest left-handed pitchers in baseball. If you take a look at their bullpen, they did play that doubleheader yesterday. Their 3 back-end guys pitched 16, 14, and 12 pitches. They'll all be available today. Pablo Lopez started the season on fire and has regressed a little bit. He has pitched better his last 2 out, but he has a 5.88 ERA at home this year. There's no way Minnesota should be favored here. I hate to disagree with my friend Marco. He's been a good baseball handicapper in his career, but Boston, as an underdog, is a gift in this one.
And that's what we do. We disagree with our friends when we don't. When it comes to betting, it's not about agreeing with your buddies. It's about making money. And Bryan says, take a look at the dog as the road dog today as the better of the 2 teams. Bryan, what do you have to promote? What's going on over at WagerTalk.com?
These are my only 2 plays I've given away for free, so you save yourself $9. But do keep in mind that Cincinnati line's moved up a little bit, so played a little bit less. I would play as at 2% of this current number as opposed to the 3. And if you want to go out and spend that $9 that you were going to spend on me, spend it on Marco. He hasn't sent me his plays yet, so hopefully it's not against one of my plays. But yeah, either get that or get Teddy's football package going up. The win report coming up on the 20th, I believe I saw there. So that's a given. You've got to get that. That's if there's one thing you're going to get on the season, make sure you get that package from Teddy. He's done great work over the years.
Whoa, Teddy, you're getting a lot of love, brother. Thank you, Bryan Leonard. Guys, it's time for a betting strategy with Teddy and the Prez. And today's question sent in from Jamie Gonzalez asking for a friend. Funny. I built myself a little 1K bankroll just starting out, 1 to 5% plays. But as I start to lose $10 to $50 single plays consistently, I'm tempted to go back to playing multi-leg parlays and prop bets, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Should I just stay the course and play the single game parlays or the single game bets or not? That's the gist of the question. Teddy, from my perspective, super easy. If you're struggling to consistently win moneyline single bets, how the hell are you going to win your parlays? No. Keep to the program. Do not try to have a quick winning day, some easy dollar because you want a 3-team parlay. Stay to the plan. You're going to roller coaster. You're going to go up. You're going to go down. You're going to go up. You're going to go down. I don't think you should veer from the course all because you started losing. Teddy?
Sure. When you're talking about playing multi-leg parlays and props to make some quick money, with a small bankroll at the moment? Is this a good way to build a bigger bankroll? The advantage of parlays is that you can turn a little bit into a lot. The disadvantage of parlays is that they tend to be negative expectation wagers, and it's very easy to trickle away money every day and not hit one of those scores that replenishes you. Parlays are a riskier strategy than straight betting. Bettors often, especially beginning bettors, they're impatient. They want to make something happen. They want to make something happen fast. You go a week, you go a month. We didn't make any money this month. What's up? We didn't make any money the last quarter. But what's up? Let's go. Let's go. We didn't make any money yesterday. Let's go. It doesn't work that way. All right. They're not giving away money. You have to take it. And there are times where you're going to be in rhythm. There are times you're going to be out of rhythm. The goal is lose less when you're out of rhythm, make more when you're in rhythm. But my advice to you is not to go back to the quick money strategies of parlays and props. Not that props are bad. You can make money with props, but it's not a long-term positive expectation strategy, whereas straight betting can be a long-term positive expectation strategy. So there's my sense. Great question, Jaime. Thank you.
Teddy, I ask people all the time, if you have a $100,000 bankroll for betting, and at the end of the year you are up 10 grand, are you happy? And most are not. And I'm sitting there going, that's better than the market. That's better than pretty much any other place you're going to put your money. This is a long-term proposition. I don't understand why people put money into the marketplace and are happy with an 8% return. But when they sports bet, they need a 2.6%, 206% return every night. Like, I don't get it at all. Drew Martin joining us, everyone. Drew, anything to add to that conversation? Wow, you look good. Handsome cat you there, Drew.
Hey, Prez, thanks for the compliment, man. Means a lot from you. And I think you're onto something there, Prez. I really do. There is a little bit of almost misconception out there that you got to make a whole lot of money in sports betting rather than just, hold on to that 1 unit gain each night. And hey, you'll be a lot better off. So to answer that guy's question, I agree with both of what you and Teddy said. I mean, Prez, you said it in a little bit more funny way. Hey, if you can't win just sides, how the heck are you going to win the parlay route? And Teddy hit the nail on the head there with his. So I don't really have much to add other than hey, it's a marathon, not a sprint, guys. That's the one thing maybe I can add.
And just let me jump in real quick, because that's, to me, that tells me how long you've been betting. All right. If you've been betting 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, you know that it's not a get-rich-quick scheme. If you're a newbie bettor, you're sitting there impatient. Let's go. Let's wing. So it really is one of those deals where it's newer bettors tend to be more impatient than more experienced bettors. And if you want to become a more experienced bettor, you have to be a new bettor first. So that said, patience, slow and steady wins this race. Let's talk some MLB.
Yeah, we all start a virgin. Arizona and Milwaukee. Drew Martin, Teddy had a take at the top of the show, and what did bettors learn? That it is streak season. Milwaukee has just laid down 3 wins in a row, all against Pittsburgh. Has their run begun? And what do we do in this game?
Man, I got to go back and watch that because I saw it in the WagerTalk Slack there about Teddy's streak season, and I totally agree with him. So I really want to go back and watch what he said. But I'll just go blind here. Hopefully I somewhat, and I would guess from working with him so long, we do this kind of the same. But I'm on Arizona here, plus 105, risk 100 to win 105, guys. And a couple reasons why. Corbin Burnes is on the hill for the Brewers. He has pitched a little bit better of late. But I have it as fade Corbin Burnes day here, Prez. I mean, he's the former Cy Young winner, and we've seen the marketplace kind of overprice him this season. He's down units on the year if you've been going against him, and really it's because his K rate is down. He's averaging 8.9 strikeouts per 9 this season, and his career average is 11.3 strikeouts per 9. Therefore, he's not missing bats at the same rate as he has been over the last couple years. He brings a big name to the betting marketplace here, overpriced in my opinion, and he's up against Merrill Kelly here, the former KBO champion. And last time out against this Brewers lineup, guys, Kelly carried a no-hitter into the 7th inning. He's 7-0 since April 22nd. So overall, I actually think Kelly's underpriced in the market. I think Burns is overpriced. These are two first-place teams. Pretty big game here. The only problem for Milwaukee is they're first place in the NL Central. Somebody's got to be winning that division. Overall, I think it's wrong team favored. Plus 105 on the Diamondbacks is the way I'm going after this one.
Let me talk about the price here real quick, because I'm seeing Milwaukee, minus 115, minus in that range. Let's call it minus 115, looking at the WagerTalk Live odds screen. There is some variance off of that, but not anything significant. Is that overpriced with the Cy Young winner on the hill and a team that just swept Pittsburgh over the weekend? I mean, you got a first-place team at home, like basically in a pick-em price range with their ace on the hill. How's that overpriced?
I guess that's another way to look at it, Teddy. But again, I'd go back to the NL Central here, and he's not the same pitcher. I mean, I don't want to kind of like repeat what I already just said. He's not missing bats at the same rate, though. And hey, you get a first-place team in the Arizona Diamondbacks and the better offense, in my opinion, here. So, hey, it's not the biggest bet I've ever made here, Teddy, but it's one that I am on in the Diamondbacks.
There we go. Drew Martin joining us, everyone. You can find him at WagerTalk.com. He's also the host of First Pitch. Drew, we're talking San Diego Padres versus the Giants. I was stupid enough yesterday to get in the way, talking about streaks, to get in the way of the San Fran streak. I took the Dodgers. It lost. They've now won 7 straight. San Diego, though, is playing better ball. How do we bet this game?
They really are, Prez. I mean, 7-3 their last 10 here, talking about the Padres, and they got Walker on the hill. Guys, if you haven't noticed Michael Walker, this guy's resurgence. He was the pitcher of the month last month. 5-1, 0.91 ERA since May 1st, so an under 1 ERA. Almost 13 straight scoreless innings. I love betting on the hot pitcher. Michael Walker's hot right now. Going up against the bullpen game for San Francisco here, guys, that's not necessarily a bad thing. This is one of the better bullpens in baseball. Actually, both of them ranked top 5 by my bullpen ratings here. So might be a lower scoring game. Overall, you said it at the top. The Padres are playing better baseball. And I've kind of just been waiting here for the Padres to start hitting the ball. And sure enough, they have, guys. So I have them circled as look to be betting on when the price makes sense. Here it is. Now, granted, You brought it up as well, Prez. San Francisco on this hot run. That's what kind of kept it off of being a client play as of right now. But, on that hot 7-0 streak, don't love stepping in front of that. But the Padres is the side I have circled.
Just real quick, Drew. I mean, the Padres had one 3-game home winning streak. That came April 1st. April 2nd, and April 3rd. Since that time, they have not won 3 in a row at home in any instance, and they've had multiple 2 games where they couldn't win the 3rd, multiple 2 games. Here they are. They've won 2 straight. Do you try? I mean, is that something that you pay attention to at all? A team that just doesn't put winning streaks together at home, and now you're asking them to put one together, or is that a non-factor here?
I don't know. It's an interesting question. Like what? They win 2 straight and then they go out drinking or something like that, and you don't want to be betting them on the 3rd time around. I don't really factor it into my handicapping. Yeah, but you might be onto something, man. And again, just the plus 105, plus 101 here, just the short underdog. I think it's worth a shot here, guys, but not one of my favorite plays on the card.
Guys, Drew and Teddy are together in 16 minutes. You can listen to them on the opening line report, WagerTalk TV. Make sure to do that. Drew, what do you have to promote?
Yeah, got a $9 play up and available. Swept the card yesterday. Profitable weekend here, Prez. So, top play on the board, up and available, discounted to just $9. $9 Monday. Drew Martin, WagerTalk.com.
Wonderful stuff, Drew, everybody. Reclaim James. Happy 50th, my friend. And thank you for joining us regularly, listening and chatting in the chat room. Teddy, I'm done. I'm gone until next Wednesday. I will be playing at the WSOP. If any of you are there, DM me through Twitter. I'd love to see you. And good luck to you all. Theodore, I'll see you tomorrow night for dinner, hopefully. Take us home, my brother.
And this will be our last show until August, because after this weekend, I'll be gone as well for an extended time away from Wager Talk Today. We'll be back August, 2nd week of August. So we'll miss you. and we'll see you soon. That being said, we're here all week, and that's going to wrap it for the Monday edition of Wager Talk Today. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day to hang out with us. Check out all the selections on $9 Monday, and we'll see you right here on Wager Talk TV in 15 minutes for the NFL opening line report, in an hour and 15 minutes for MLB first pitch, and tomorrow, 9 a.m. Pacific time, noon Eastern, for another edition of Wager Talk Today. Cheers.